about Russia in Africa. And I know a lot of people are interested in this conversation because, we want to find out, what is Russia looking for in Africa? What does Russia want from Africa? Will it be sustainable? So I have joining me Dr. Stanislav Mezentsev. He is the executive
Correct.
director of AfroCom. AfroCom is tries to work with African countries to be able to get industries from Russia to be able to work with African countries. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Stanislav.
Stanislav. Yeah, it's okay. Thank you, Oguchi, for inviting me and for having me here. And
Okay.
yes, it's very important topic we are going to discuss today. And
Okay.
let's see.
So I'll start by. I know a bit that AfroCom already has 20 representative offices in African countries and unites about 100 Russian enterprises. Can you help us understand more? What is the work you do?
Yeah, the AfroCom, as you correctly said, is coordination committee for economic cooperation with Africa. So we are part with a platform with the Russian Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And the main goal for us is to pave the way to Africa for our regional businesses, medium, small enterprises, and all Russian business who still have interest. And you know what, let me put it in this way. We are trying Russian young business generation to remember Africa, because during my time, I spent all my active life in Africa. I think I started working with this beautiful continent in around 1982. And my first country was Ethiopia. So, and let me tell you that Soviet Union, by that time we were calling, our country was USSR, Soviet Union. So at that time, Africa for Soviet Union was one of the biggest commercial and partner, and not only for export-import operation, but you know that Soviet Union helped a lot. From the very beginning, we were helping Africa during the decolonization process. We go far back in history, 1960s. Part of that Africa became decolonized, it was also because of the great help of the Soviet Union. But unfortunately, after 1991, we have the Soviet Union collapsed. We are not going to discuss now the reasons for that. There were several reasons. One of the reasons, some people are trying to say that one of the reasons of the collapse of the Soviet Union was the heavy involvement of Soviet Union in help to Africa. Some, I think, maybe probably not very educated experts are saying that one of the reasons of the collapse of the Soviet Union was that we helped a lot for Africans and we left without money for ourselves. It's funny to hear that allegations. You know what, the Soviet Union was exactly, we were living in such kind of international blockade, and we never had the dollars to invest into Africa. We were investing to Africa the technologies, we were importing to Africa our products, we were building the dams, energy sectors, we were helping with the education. So this was the main directions of the involvement of Soviet Union with Africa.
I recall that. Of course, you said helped in fighting apartheid in Africa, colonialism, helping Ethiopia and Somalia with the military and all that. But now the question people are asking: so what happened? You've left Africa. Why now? It seems that is what we call, quote unquote, a scramble for Africa. Why now? Why is Russia now interested again in Africa? Is it because, other world powers are beginning to shift to Africa? Why is Russia suddenly interested in Africa?
Gochi, let me put this way, trying to answer your very interesting question. Russia is trying to be back to Africa because Russia now is ready, economically, politically, ready to come back to Africa. You know what? After that time, what you said when we were helping Somalia, Ethiopia, we helped many other countries, Angola, Mozambique, and even with Nigeria, we had a very good relation during the Soviet Union. But after 1991, we had some problem of internal. We call this process perestroika. So we were suffered economically, politically. That was a transition of power after the Soviet Union back to new Russia. And Russia now, after a few years of absence, not few, decade of absence, now is economically ready to come back to Africa, not to be part of the scrambling for Africa. Whenever been the metropolis, we never colonized Africa. We had a very different approach to Africa. Soviet Union, Russia before Soviet Union, and Russia after Soviet Union. We are looking for to build up the very equal, mutually beneficial relations between Russia and Africa. And now I think it's the time to come because we are ready. And we, as AFRICOM, we are working in Africa. As you said, we have 22 representatives in different African countries. We feel that Africa still remember the Soviet Union, remember the quality of the Russian Soviet Union produced equipment, Soviet Union school of education, medicine. Africa still feels that Soviet Union was quite a good partner in all these fields.
Yeah.
And why not now to come back again? And I'm saying we were not there because not Africa doesn't want us to be there. We were not there because we were not ready. But now economically we are ready. We are coming to reestablish this relation with Africa on the equal and on the basis of equality, on the basis of mutual beneficial.
I would say something.
Yeah, please.
I mean, a lot of people have. I posted this on. I posted that we're going to have this conversation on Facebook, and people said, "Oh, they are running out of uranium, and they're coming to Africa, for natural resources." That's what everybody is coming for, and that is what Russia is interested in, to explore Africa's natural resources. And what would you say about this? Uranium, natural resources. We'll talk about other things, but for now, let's talk about this issue. What's your comment on this?
My comment is very, very simple. Look, Russia is, I think, 20 times richer than Africa in terms of uranium. We can import uranium to Africa if Africa needs it. We are not for, we are not going back to Africa to get your natural resources. It's better you discuss this issue with the partners from China, from Western Europe. You know that I can tell you to those people who is asking you that definitely on your uranium, the France is depend 100%. They depend on the uranium which they produce in Cameroon, in Chad. They are very much dependent on that. That's why they are trying to be there, trying to, even the situation is not very perfect in this part of Africa. They are trying to protect their interests, to get from Africa that uranium and to bring it back to France. Look, Russia has enough natural resources. We have almost all, starting from gold, coming back to oil and gas. We are the biggest producer in the world.
Absolutely.
So no, the reason of that, not we are coming to Africa to get your resources. Please, we are coming to Africa back to help you with to establish the renewable energy, to help you with the new sources for energy. We know that the biggest limitation of Africa at the moment. I tell you why Russia is coming back, because there are two factors. Mostly, first one, it's the growing and very young population of Africa. It's a huge territory of Africa, and it's a very high rate of economic of growth of economy of Africa. Okay, and now are you with me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
you understand. He's trying
Hello.
to fix he has a call. Yeah. We'll wait for a few seconds while you fix that.
I think we have some technical problem. I don't know.
Yeah,
Are
go
you
ahead. I think
still
someone
with me?
called you. Yes.
That's okay. So I'm saying that we are coming back to Africa. I don't know. It was we were interrupted by something.
You are talking about
So,
renewable energy,
to
energy sources.
establish the previous relations, when Russia will be able to bring to Africa the new technologies, localize some of our industries there, to produce together and then to do added value to make it made in Africa, and then to benefit together. Definitely, resources are also might be interesting for us. We have, by the way, one or two biggest Russian companies, state-owned companies, who are now actively involved in gold mining, for example. We have one company. It's one of the biggest private. Sorry, it was not state-owned. It is a private Russian company, Nord Gold. They are working with the Guinea. They are working with the Burkina Faso, I think, yes, and they are helping, but they are working together with the community, and they are working. They take care about the environment, and they teach the Africans how to organize proper mining. To overcome the problems. What you, as a continent, the richest continent in the world, you are suffer from what? You are suffer from not civilized exploitation of your own resources. Not only you, but also some external forces and so on. So Russia is also ready to help to overcome these problems, to avoid.
We'll talk about that. I know you mentioned renewable energy. Can you hear me? I know you mentioned renewable energy,
yes,
energy sources, and AFRICOM says it's working to resolve Africa's problems in solving environmental problems, rational use of the words natural resources, the introduction of energy-saving, harmless technology in cooperation with relevant environmental resource centers and specialized institutions in Russia and abroad. And also, you also talked about renewable energy. But what we've heard about Russia coming to Nigeria specifically is because of, we've heard about the nuclear energy plan, the plan to build a nuclear power station in Nigeria by Rosatom, that is the Russia State Atomic Energy Corporation. This deal was signed in 2017, and that's a major concern for many people. If you're talking about renewable energies, nuclear has not been classified as renewable energy, and people are concerned that why is Russia coming in to help us with renewable energy? And is Nigeria prepared for renewable energy? We understand the problem with maintenance. We have the state of our refineries and all of this. Why are you proposing renewable energy for Nigeria?
We propose renewable energy not only for Nigeria. We proposed and already signed an agreement, and we're already building the nuclear power plant in Egypt. We're also discussing this with Ethiopia, with some other African countries, with South Africa as well. You know what? The the atomic energy, at the moment, it's the most safest and most reliable technology in the world, which can help Africa overcome I think the biggest problem of the rest of the Africa, it's still energy. It's still that Africa does not have enough energy resources to develop future development of the economic growth of the continent. So as we are talking about the nuclear energy or atomic energy, which you already mentioned, the Rosatom, the Russian state corporation, the biggest, the most experienced, and Russia, I think 50% of the energy, we depend on the nuclear power stations. And at present, what I can assure you and I know what I'm talking about, that nuclear energy is the most reliable and the safest way of getting huge amount of energy to uh, to boost the economic development of Africa. And it's up to you to decide to accept this or not. I know that in Nigeria you have a very excellent level of experts and expertise. I know that you can, as a Nigerians, you are very improved and developed in scientific, and the experts can definitely evaluate the risks towards the profit, and then make your choice.
I can comment on that. I can comment on that quickly because I've been to this community in Akwa Ibom State. It's in southern Nigeria, where the government is proposing to build this nuclear plant. I've spoken to people there, and they've told me that they do not want this plant in their community. First, Nigeria, we have the poor maintenance culture in our country. We have broken power supply, broken systems. How can we trust that if there is a disaster in our lead, and they've actually said no. I've seen women leaders who have championed and said no in E2 in Akwa Ibom State, and they've rejected this. Have you heard this? Have you heard that those in E2 in Akwa Ibom State of Nigeria have rejected, Nigeria trying to build a nuclear power plant in their community?
You know what? I don't want to continue this discussion about the nuclear plant because I already explained my position, and I don't want to advertise or to protect the Rosatom project in Nigeria. If Nigeria people feels that it is not convenient for them, I'm not an expert on this field, and I trust what you are saying, that people fear because people is not educated enough. So in this case, if government wants to boost the energy to be the most developed in Africa, why the France is not afraid? Why is Japan is not afraid? Why the world is not afraid of the nuclear power atomic energy? Because we have huge experience, and we know now, after all mistakes, after all problems, after all disasters, it's now absolutely reliable source of the energy. We know for ourselves, and we are using this to develop the economy of our countries. That's we offer you, and you are to decide.
Yeah, so let's leave the nuclear energy talk now. And so I would ask you, you mentioned that Africa works to solve environmental problems in Africa. How do you ensure that companies from Russia that come into Africa would operate sustainably? That's a problem we've had with many countries, many foreign companies that come into Africa or Nigeria. They exploit, they work unsustainably, the same practices, the way they practice, they run their business in Nigeria is totally different from what they do in other countries where there are laws, there are regulations, they can get punished. How would you ensure that these companies work sustainably to ensure that the environment is safe for everyone?
You know what? You can, as I told you, we have one of the biggest Russian gold mining company, Nord Gold. They are working in Guinea, they are working in Burkina Faso, and the system of the mining, what they deploy there, it's the high standard of protection of environment, and even the example or the school of protection of environment of our Russian company now is using by others as an example to protect the environment. AFRACOM is bringing to Africa not the mostly our partners. It's a medium to small size enterprises. We are coming to Africa to establish the trade, to localize the production of Russian technology, to bring the new technologies in medicine, in education. We, especially as AFRACOM, we are all about these businesses. We are not dealing directly with the mining or directly with the oil and gas producers. So as AFRACOM, I can assure you that what we are doing in Africa, it will be, of course, of high standards to protect the environment. As we are talking about the general agenda for Africa for the future, you know that global world wants to keep Africa as a green continent. This is a very good idea. And Russia fully supported all initiatives of the United States, of the European Union, to try to keep Africa as a last continent, which is not poisoned by the pollution, by the pollution of oil and gas industry, you know, and our vision that we have to reduce the fossil fuel and switch to renewable energy. And as we mentioned before, the nuclear power plants, it's one of the part of to reduce your dependence on the fossil fuel that which destroys environment. And I know you are the one who protects environment in Africa. You are well-known journalist for this. So it's better to support, and Russia is supporting the all initiatives going to implement the programs to protect the environment of Africa, because we want to keep your continent clean, because you have unique chance in comparison with other continents to remain as green as possible. That's why Russia has a lot of new technology, and we as AFRACOM also wants to bring them in the wind, in the solar energy, in the gas, renewable gas industry. So all this is in our portfolio, and we are discussing with partners on the continent.
You're hoping to make it a win-win arrangement for Nigerian businesses. I would read a statement by AFRICOM from a meeting of June 2020, and it said we need government funding mechanisms, otherwise that we can be very difficult to overcome the fierce competition of Western companies in Africa. The principles already used by the West should also be used by Russian companies. Maybe you could explain that to us. Large companies come to the market as well as medium and small companies. It is necessary to, and also you said it is necessary to rid of stereotypes about Africa as a continent where it is possible to sell low quality goods or not the best quality goods. Can you help us understand this statement from your meeting? Our Coordination Committee for Economic Cooperation with South Africa concluded this in June 2020.
Can you hear me? I understand a little bit that it was an interruption with the. I didn't hear proper the
okay.
This statement. You read the statement from which source? Sorry, I didn't hear your proper.
From your website, from the meeting. Okay. The Coordination Committee for Economic Cooperation with Sub-Saharan Africa, AFRICOM, concluded in June 2020 to return to do business in Africa. And then you said the principles already used by the West should also be used by Russian companies. And mind you, a lot of Nigerians have not really supported the principles of the West in Africa or in Nigeria. And also, and there's something I also said that is stereotypes about Africa as a continent where it is possible to sell not the best quality of goods should be thrown away. I mean, that's good news. Help us understand these statements.
I don't know. We never said that the Africa we have to produce the not good quality products
No, no,
for
no, no. You
Africa.
said
And
no, no, no,
we,
no, no,
yeah,
no. You said that you have to produce good quality and remove the stereotype that Africa is a continent that you give bad quality. So that's kudos to you, in case you didn't understand
yes,
that.
yeah. It's that's one is correct. You know, and what is the this statement is made that the Russia is fully supporting the all initiatives of the Western countries and of the African governments to support and to protect the environment and to bring the technologies, even if it's in the mining or it's in the oil and gas industry, which will be 100% proof for the protection of the environment. So this was a statement which we are going to follow during the practical initiatives in Africa.
Okay. But we have about 5 minutes to go, so I'll ask you about elections and democracy in Africa. How do you hope that the democracy can be deepened, in the continent, knowing that the continent, a lot of countries on the continent lack democratic values, and this is at the heart of bad leadership on the continent?
Yeah, you know what? This is two different things. It's a very interesting question. Unfortunately, we have a very limited time to discuss it. You know, on the one side, we put democracy, on the other side, we put stability. And you have to be very careful to mix both. You know, sometimes democracy, it's a good, and we are all for the democratic process, for the democratization, for the changing of power. But on the other stage, we have to be very careful while we are trying to put democracy model from outside. You know, Africa has its sometimes its own understanding, its own vision um, of development of the socio-economic and the political internal political situation. Russia always everywhere in all levels are saying that we will never interfere with the internal political courses of the governments of Africa. And it all depends on the situation in the country. And this is only Africans who are to decide um, and to choose the way of their internal politics. So Russia always was, and it still will be the partner who will be never involved in the internal political. We are ready to discuss economic relations. We are ready to answer questions and to advise your politicians when we asked for the help, but we will be never interfere in. Because, I'm understanding what they're trying to say. Some of the African countries, the leaders are still like, let's say Rwanda, small country, the president more than 30 years in power, but it's one of the best developed and stable country at the region, at the Eastern African region. And they show up a very good approach for the people as for the population, for the environment. They are one of the leaders of the protection of the environment. It's not always the depend internal politics and economic development. It's always it's sometimes difficult to judge. So I don't
Yeah,
know. Did I answer your question?
yeah.
Of
You did
what
very
you
well.
expected to
Russia
hear
is
or
trying to
not,
stay away
but
from
Russia is
Russia is
trying to
trying to stay
be
away from the politics of the country. But at the same time, I hope that we understand that sometimes if the politics or if the country is not stable, the business will not thrive. If there's
if
failure
it's
of
not
government,
stable.
yeah.
Yeah, if it's not stable, we all have to come to help. But first of all, it's an African Union has to come, and we are always ready to support these peacekeeping operations only in the way where which Africans are decided for themselves. So in case of the security, export of the security, Russia is ready to help in those places which is unstable, where the human rights is eliminated, whereas genocide or any other risk for the humanity. Then Russia is ready and always is ready to invest, ready to come, ready to help. what we are showing now in many African countries, but not interfere.
Thank you very much.
You understand the difference?
We really hope for a cordial relationship, a win-win relationship for Africans, for African businesses, and we would always have you to talk more on these issues. Thank you so much for joining me, Dr. Stanislav Mazet. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much for inviting me, for having me.
We appreciate you, and watch this later if you couldn't join us. Have a wonderful evening now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.